My brothers and sisters, what is going on? Still sermon in the house. It is Wednesday night, and I am recording right now my Week 5 preview for the biggest and the hardest game on our schedule as the 1-3 Pittsburgh Steelers head on up to Buffalo to play the 3-1 Bills. But there are headlines in this game as it looks to be the start of the Kenny Pickett era, which is officially the post-Big Ben era. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the description box below. So this is my preview for the Steelers and the Bills. And I'm going to start off by talking about, Mr. Irrelevant right now. And I've flaunted this horse to death 1,000 times. I'm going to start with Mitch Trubisky. So obviously, I just don't understand this fan base, first of all. Because we brought Mitch over here back in spring. We brought him here as a bridge guy. And we brought him over here because we thought he bridged the gap between, competing and starting, apparently, Kenny Pickett. And everyone was like, oh, I want nothing to do with Mitch. I want nothing to do with him now. And then, he doesn't play particularly great in preseason, and he had a couple of rough practices in training camp, and everyone's defending him. And then I just don't get what the infatuation with this guy is. He deserved to get benched. He really did. It was Mitch's job to lose, and guess what? He just lost it. We knew he was going to be the starter entering week 1 because I agree with Tomlin not putting Pickett in right away. If you want to give him a couple weeks to, study and get ready, that's fine. But now is the time where you feel confident enough to bring him in. Granted, it's against the Buffalo Bills, and I'm going to get to them in a little bit. But still, if he feels the time is right, it's time. I mean, he felt it in the second half of last week's game against the Jets. And, yeah, he had the first game jitters, like every other rookie quarterback would have. But he still gave a spark to the offense, all things considered. He led back-to-back touchdown drives, both of them being rushing touchdowns. So, it was first game jitters. He's going to learn. And Mitch is relegated now to the backup, and I just don't get what the infatuation and the love affair with this guy is. People sitting here, on my Instagram. I'm getting into arguments with people on my Instagram now because I am heavily opinionated on Mitch Trubisky, and people still don't see it. They just don't see it, and I don't get why they don't see it. I knew what I was getting when Mitch Trubisky first came here, okay? I just don't get what the defense with this guy is. And now people are arguing with me on Twitter like, oh, you're not allowed to say this about Mitch. Oh, you can't say that about Mitch. First of all, why? Why can't I be realistic? Why can't I be, honest about what this guy is doing? He's not improving. He ain't catching on. And that's why he got benched. And that's why Kenny Pickett's in the game now. Plain and simple. Why can't why can't people just sit here and just tell it like it is? Because no matter how badly the truth is, you can't hide from the truth. And you have to say it like it is. Like imagine if you're still in school, right? And you're constantly getting D's and F's on your report card. What do you think your teacher's going to do at open house with your parents? You think your teacher's going to sit back and coddle you and go to your parents and be like, oh, your son, he's such a good boy, yeah, he fails every single test, quiz, and assignment I throw at him, and he don't turn in his homework, and he doesn't pay attention in class, but he's a nice guy, he has lots of friends, he hangs out well with other people outside the class, so he's a good guy. Let's just ignore the bad grades that he has. Yeah, it don't fly like that. Or like if you're the CEO of a company or whatever and say your company has a real bad quarter and you lose millions of dollars in revenue, you're just going to sweep that under the rug? Of course you're not. That's my point with Mitch. He ain't catching on. He's not improving. He ain't playing well. He's still doing the same crap that we expect him to do every single time he takes the field, and more often than not, none of it has to do with Matt Canada, because the decisions that Mitch makes is on him. Matt Canada's not the one going out there running with his legs trying to make something out of nothing. Matt Canada's not the one trying to thread the needle. Matt Canada's not the one trying to force passes. Matt Canada's not the one overshooting and undershooting every receiver. Matt Canada certainly isn't the one who is missing receivers wide open, more specifically George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. He's not the one going out there and missing them left and right and not running through big wide open gaps. That is all on Mitch. And that's why he got benched in the second half, and that's why Kenny Pickett has won the job. So why people are still defending this guy, and why people are still, saying, well, it's not Mitch's fault, this is all Matt Canada's fault. Watch the games and tell me what is on Mitch and what isn't. I tell it like it is, and I see a guy who's been in the league 5-6 years and has not improved. Plain and simple. But getting on to this game. Obviously, us coming in this game, the big headline, Kenny Pickett is starting, and I think it is the right decision. It's time to give this guy his chance. Overall, I just think he's an immediate upgrade over Mitch. He processes decisions better than Mitch. He's more mental in the head than Mitch is. He makes better use of his legs than Mitch does. He's got great, if I haven't said it before, I'll say it again. He's got great mental stability. He just has a feel for the game, He provides a spark to the offense, and it just seems like the offense just gels better when Kenny Pickett's in there. But overall, with this Steeler team, when we've played Buffalo in Week 1 of 2021, it's pretty much, not a whole lot of changes are being brought to the table here. Aside from a couple players that are injured, like Minka, Terrell Edmonds, who, it's probably for the best at this point. Terrell Edmonds, Cam Sutton, and Cam Hayward all are questionable to play for this game. But we don't know it completely. I just know that they're questionable for this. Ahkello Witherspoon has been ruled out for this game. And then, of course, we're probably going to have to rely on Jordan Norwood and Miles Killebrew to take over that place because, we don't have reliability in the defensive backfield position a lot, So I think that's just a real bad mismatch right there, especially considering that Killebrew's more of a special teams kind of guy. And then, of course, you got Arthur Millette in the nickel slot. Personally, I'd like us to start Levi Wallace opposite in this game or to give him more reps because if there's one thing that could give us an advantage in this game, it's that Levi Wallace is going up against his former team. He's a former Buffalo Bill, so he knows the system. He knows Sean McVay. He knows how Sean McDermott, rather. He knows how Sean McDermott runs his offense, and I feel like if we're going to have a shot at having a strong secondary for this game and limiting Josh Allen, I think you got to put in Levi Wallace for a couple of games. And then, of course, we also got to rely on another trash can known as James Pierre. So we are really banged up, and it's just not looking good for us defensively. Once again, I know the easy way out is saying, well, TJ Watt's been injured since Week 1. You got to get that chip out of your head. He's going to be out for us until at least the end of this month. You got to get that chip out of your head. The main reason our defense is not producing goes beyond TJ Watt. It's because the offense just doesn't do it any favors. They're leaving this defense on the field way too much, and it's overexerting them, and it's causing them to get tired. That's why we're having so many injuries on this defense left and right all of a sudden. Your defense is eventually going to get tired if your offense keeps giving the opponents extra possessions. And that all goes back to why Mitch Trubisky got benched. I know he hasn't turned the ball over a whole lot, but he has given the opponents a lot of extra possessions because he can't scan the field. Like I said last week, Does he need to be the only quarterback in the league to ever wear glasses when he's on the field? Whatever. It's not our concern for this week. What is our concern this week is Kenny Pickett's development. That's what this game, that's the main thing that this game is centered around for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett's development. And we're here to see what this kid has in store for us. If he's able to shake off the first game jitters, if he's able to, see the tape on what he was doing in the second half of last week, and if he can build off of that. This is his first shot in the big leagues, boy, and he has to make it count. I believe he can do it. I believe Tomlin made the right decision because, like I said, the definition of insanity, just keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That's what we were doing with Mitch. Now we got Kenny Pickett out there. So hopefully Kenny Pickett can put together some decent drives for us, and the offense just does better altogether with Pickett in there. So that's for us. Now taking a look at the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, this is a heavy Super Bowl favorite, and it's very easy to see why. Personally, they're my pick to win the Super Bowl. They are. Even when they lost to Miami, they still are. They got the 5th scoring offense in the league and the 2nd scoring defense. So, this is just a very evenly balanced team. They, in my opinion, are the most complete team in the NFL. A lot of people would say Kansas City. Most people would say Philly right now. But if you ask me who the most well-rounded, established team in the league is as of right now, it is the Buffalo Bills. I know that they're dealing with injuries as well. Like, I know that Tre'Davious White, Hyde, and Jamison Crowder have all been ruled out for this game. And then Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, they're questionable to go. So that would expose Buffalo's middle of the field, enormously right there, which is one of my keys to victory. I'll get into that a little bit. Christian Benford, Isaiah McKenzie, they're questionable to go as well. So, they're down a couple of guys and some guys that are going to have game time decisions for this game. But the thing that makes Buffalo so dangerous is that they have great depth. You can't rely on Crowder for this game. Well, they got Stephon Diggs. He's a top 5 receiver in the league, and it's very easy to see why. They got Gabe Davis. They got Knox. They got Singletary in the backfield putting together a solid season so far. This team is just a well-oiled machine when it comes to scoring, and it's almost a juggernaut on defense when it comes to stopping a drive. They're not physical, I would say, but they will be able to stop a drive. And that's just what makes Buffalo so dangerous. That's the kind of coach that Sean McDermott is. He gets the most out of all the players that he has on the field. Even when Buffalo was undermanned against Miami a couple weeks ago, they still took Miami to the brink. Miami may have gotten kind of lucky against Buffalo, but at the end of the day, the Bills gave everything they had when they had a lot of their starters out for that game. And that's why the Bills are an easy favorite in the AFC to represent in the Super Bowl. Just an overall explosive offense, can put up a lot of yards per game, and it all starts with their quarterback, Josh Allen, who should be an MVP candidate this season. He has been an MVP candidate for the past 3 seasons now. So, that's just the big thing with the Buffalo Bills. They are explosive. They will be able to stop you dead in your tracks, and they will run up the score, man. And against this weakened defense coming in this week, that is my biggest concern. Like I said, I know we're injured, but Buffalo's injured too, all right? And there's one thing that the Bills have greatly over us that I am a strong advocate of. It don't matter if you're injured. If you don't have your next man up, you are not an in-depth team. And the Buffalo Bills, not only are they an in-depth team, but they have their next man up. And they have been producing big time. They're resilient, and they will fight to the final gun, as shown in that comeback win that they had against the Baltimore Ravens last Sunday. So that's the Buffalo Bills in a nutshell. And obviously, everyone is counting us out, seeing that we're 14-point underdogs coming into this game. And I read online that that is the largest point underdogs that we've been since the merger back in 1970. As a matter of fact, I think with that, every team in the league since the merger has been an underdog of at least 13 or more. It's pretty amazing that it took it that long for all 32 teams to be an underdog of that many in 52 years. So yeah, that's the Buffalo Bills for you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Steeler Nation, all right? Let's not beat around the bush and let's just cut the BS, all right? There's a very good chance that we're not going to win this game. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm going to be sitting in my condo, not here, but in my new condo Sunday afternoon when I'm on Steel Twins' stream, repping my guys to pull off possibly the biggest upset of the season. So with that being said, these are my keys to victory. Pittsburgh Steelers, like I said, you're 14-point underdogs coming in this game. Just play like you got nothing to lose. But at the same time, you got to have pretty much the same scheme that you had last year when you played these guys. What were you doing? Applying pressure. You were making everything on Buffalo's offense work to their fullest, and you were tiring them out. It's going to be a tall order this year because TJ Watt's not going to be playing this game. But I believe we have the league leader in sacks so far in Alex Highsmith, but he only has 2.5 sacks since week 1. And he leads the entire league in sacks with 5.5. So that's my main thing right there. You got to wear and tear down this Buffalo offense here with your defense if they're going to stay on the field. You can't, you can't keep them on the field forever, and that's just my second key to victory right there, leading it on. You got to shorten the game for the Bills. You got to have long drives coming in this game. Kenny Pickett, you got to be able to read defense as well, and you got to be able to be kind of not a game manager per se, but you got to be able to conduct long, lengthy drives and keep Buffalo's defense on the field for as long as possible. You got to keep their offense off the field for as long as possible. And that leads me to my final key to victory is don't force it with Kenny Pickett. Like I said, his first career start. Matt Canada, free him from jail. Let him go out there and let him do his thing. Because last weekend against the Jets, we saw Kenny Pickett just being Kenny Pickett. Don't use your game plan for Pickett in this game. Just let him go out there. Let him show you what he has. Just let him be himself. Don't subject him to this play calling. Just let him be himself. And then when you see what you have in this guy, then you incorporate the best possible plays that benefit Kenny Pickett. And that's how Matt Canada can save his job and save all the criticism from the people, and maybe finally people will understand that Mitch was the problem for this offense. Okay? But don't force it. Make very careful decisions. Only gun it if you feel 100% possible, or 100% confident, rather, that you can make that throw beating that coverage. Because like I said, Pickett, everyone's counting you out because of the 3 picks that you had last week. Shut them up. Be very careful. Don't take unnecessary sacks. You can use your legs, it seems like, because you had 2 rushing touchdowns against the Jets. Incorporate that a little bit. Incorporate the bootlegs. Incorporate the RPOs. And I think Kenny Pickett's going to be okay. But don't force it. Don't force any passes. Don't try to push your limitations as a quarterback, because that's something you got to learn. You got to learn your limitations as a quarterback, and this is a good week to do it because it's your first start, and you got to learn the type of quarterback that you are. So those are my keys to victory right there. Be very careful with the ball. Don't force Kenny Pickett. Shorten the game. get a run game going, because when we're running the ball with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, we're getting some kind of offensive cohesion right there with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. They are being very productive. And make Josh Allen move. We know he has great escapability, we all know that he has great escapability, but apply the pressure on him. Buffalo has a below average offensive line, and that is their biggest downfall right there. That's their biggest, I think that's the biggest weak link of that team, is their offensive line. I can relate because I'm a Steeler fan, but Buffalo's offensive line ain't great either. I mean, it's below average. They don't do well at picking up blitzes, and I think that's one of the main reasons that we were able to upset them last year, is because they couldn't pick up any of our blitzes. You got to create blitz packages for this game and design and disguise blitzes and design blitzes as well. Blitz happy in this game is what I'm trying to say. So those are it. Those are my keys to victory, and that's how we can honestly go up into Buffalo and escape with a win. Like I said, guys, I ain't expecting us to win this game. I don't think anyone is expecting us to win this game. But if we keep it close with these guys, and we show that we can hang in with the big boys of the AFC, then maybe this team could be more competitive this year than rebuilding. Don't lay a total goose egg like you did against Kansas City twice last year, because I was expecting the Steelers to keep it close in both of them games. But now you have like a clean slate on offense almost, and now no one's expecting you to do anything. Mike Tomlin, if there's one thing that I will give that guy credit for, he always plays better as underdogs. Like I said, do I expect us to win? No. But do I expect us to cover the spread and keep it close with these guys? Yes. This is the biggest game on our schedule. And it don't get easier, because next week we have the second biggest game on our schedule, in my opinion, going back home to play Tom Brady, who isn't playing well so far, granted, but still, Tom Brady, if there's one team that he just always does well against, it's us. But guys, keep it close. Play your hearts out. Play like you got nothing. Play like you got nothing to lose, and just play careful football. And you can hang with these guys. I believe in these guys. I believe they can do it. And that'll do it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are posted down below. Steel Sermon checking on out for the night. May God be with you all.